See this photograph? It was taken in September of 2024. It's sacrilege. This was when Trump was running for president. This photograph is not just sacrilege, it's against the law. It's Donald Trump posing in Section 60 of Arlington Cemetery in front of the graves of our service members who died in the final days of our illegal war in Afghanistan. Trump, in violation of the law, decided to celebrate Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan, which Trump said was a disaster. He celebrated the pullout by turning Arlington Cemetery, the sacred area known as Section 60, he turned it into a political photo op, which is not just a breach of human decency, it's against the law. A female employee at Arlington tried to stop Trump from entering, and she ended up calling the police, filing a report accusing Trump's campaign staff of shoving her. But she decided not to press charges, she later said, for fear of what Trump and his supporters would do to her. So this is Donald Trump, Section 60, Arlington Cemetery, in front of the graves of our soldiers. He's smiling. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. He's standing next to the families of the loved ones who are buried there. Now, you'll notice, not to be self-serving, but I did block out the tombstones because it's against the law to photograph them. So I won't show the names on the tombstones. I also blocked out the faces of the children in this picture because that's what human decency dictates. They're children. They didn't agree to this. Wait, let me block out the other child in this picture. There's another child here. There we go. Okay. This is Donald Trump. That is Donald Trump, who trashes Gold Star families. Remember when he said about John McCain, I prefer my war heroes who don't end up in a POW camp? Remember that? And everybody said, well, that's it. He can't get elected president. Well, he did. And when he got elected president, he called the wife of a soldier who had just been killed. This was during his first administration. He said to the grieving widow, quote, this is what he signed up for. He knew what he was getting himself into. What are you going to do? And she broke down in tears. That's how Donald Trump comforts a grieving war widow. He calls our soldiers suckers and losers. He has told staffers he doesn't want to be photographed with wounded veterans because he finds it depressing and it's a bad look for me. It's a bad look for me. He reportedly told the Pentagon in the past year, I never want to be photographed standing next to highly decorated female and black soldiers, especially any that have been promoted to general. On Memorial Day, May 29th, 2017, Trump appeared at Arlington National Cemetery, accompanied by General John Kelly, who was serving at the time as Director of Homeland Security. 2 months later, he became Trump's White House Chief of Staff. They were standing at the grave of General Kelly's son, a Marine who died in Afghanistan. And Trump turned to General Kelly in front of General Kelly's son and said, quote, I don't get it. What was in it for them? Unquote. 6 phony medical deferments to stay out of Vietnam, a war he supported. 2 older sons who love guns, love to hunt, love to kill endangered animals, but they never served, although they do serve on the board of a company that manufactures military drones, and they stand to make a fortune if and when that $200 billion war supplemental gets passed. He's got a draft-age son who shows no interest in fighting his father's war, but why would he? This is a photograph from last week's USA Today. It's families and friends of our soldiers on the home front putting together care packages for our troops who are serving in the Gulf right now. Our soldiers need care packages because our military, which has a budget of $1 trillion this year, next year Trump wants to bump it up to $1.5 trillion. Our soldiers don't have access right now to deodorant, soap, and the ones in the Gulf, a lot of them are starving. There isn't enough food for our soldiers. Well, the military says it's having trouble delivering those care packages due to logistical issues. But this is a photograph of the food being served to our Marines and sailors on board the USS Abraham Lincoln. They're in the Persian Gulf. They're getting roughly one meal a day. This is from USA Today. This is a picture of the food being served. One of our soldiers sent it back home. These are one of many photographs sent by angry soldiers who say, "We're starving. We're starving." This is a photograph of the meals being served on board the USS Tripoli. You know the term soldiers march on their bellies? If you can't feed your soldiers, you're not going to win. This is what we're feeding the Marines and sailors on board the USS Tripoli and the USS Abraham Lincoln. They're doing the blockade. They're boarding ships. Cold slabs of processed meat. What is that? Was this boiled cabbage? I don't know what that is. That dog food? Boiled carrots on top? That's what we're feeding our soldiers. That's what we're feeding our soldiers. USA Today asked our Christian white nationalist defense chief and serial abuser of women, at least according to his own mother, and of course, according to the woman who was paid $50,000 to keep quiet after she accused him of rape, Pete Hegseth, was asked about the shortages of food on board the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Tripoli. USA Today quotes Pete Hegseth, whose body is covered in neo-Nazi tattoos, as saying, quote, "My team confirmed the logistics stats for the Lincoln and Tripoli. Both have 30-plus days of Class 1 supplies food on board. Nav Cent monitors this every day for every ship our sailors deserve and receive the best," unquote. And Pete Hegseth wouldn't lie to us. When has he ever uttered a falsehood? I mean, other than insisting we won in Iran, calling it the greatest military achievement in American history. Other than that lie and the lie about toppling the Iranian regime, there was that lie that he keeps repeating, that they don't control Hormuz, America does. He also said we've wiped out Iran's entire Navy, Air Force. Okay, other than those lies and the lie about wiping out 90% of Iran's ballistic missiles and drones. Other than all those lies, when has he ever lied to us? Except when he said we didn't blow up that elementary school, except for that lie. And the lie about we don't target civilians or civilian infrastructure, except for that lie and their narco-terrorists that were killing in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. Except all those lies, when has he ever lied to us?